Hello, basketball fans. DC Hewitt here for Fantasy Basketball Analyzer. And we're getting ready for week 11 of the fantasy season and a little bit of week 12, depending on league settings. So this is the week that leads into All-Star break. We touched on it a little last week, but both Yahoo and ESPN have combined this into one mega week, if you will. So rather than your guys playing between 1 and 3 games, they're going to play between mostly 4 and 6 games, but technically one of the teams only gets 3. So we're going to talk about it, right? We're going to go ahead and start out how we always do. And if you're new to the show, welcome. We start talking about pace and defensive efficiency. So let's bring that up. The way I do this, the pace is PER from ESPN, and defensive efficiency, you can find it a few different places. I use it from Cleaning the Glass, and I want to give them credit for their numbers. So I take these two and average it out, and here we go. Teams at the bottom, that makes sense. New York's been down there all season. Lakers, Utah, Phoenix, Miami. And teams at the top for the most part make sense, except, again, it's just a really high-scoring year. It's been trending that way for the last 3 seasons anyway. So anyone above 108, our averages here is pretty good, but not the creme de la creme, right? So I've got 2 different tiers of coloring, and then I'll come in. Something I did notice, I just want to talk basketball for a moment. I was surprised how high Milwaukee is. They're here at 107. They've actually gone above Golden State as a more favorable matchup. And Milwaukee's a team that, has been one of the favorites to come out of the East for years now. They've been relying on their defense. They added Drew, who's even a better defender than they've had. I was surprised to see them up there. Now, part of it is definitely their pace. But I did go looking at some numbers, investigating, and I want to plug someone else. B-Ball Breakdown, not that he needs a plug. He's got 800,000 subscribers. But if you go to B-Ball Breakdown, and I'll link it right here, he made a what the Bucks going on in Milwaukee or something like that video. But he talks about something that's been happening with Milwaukee and their defense. If you want to check it out just for the basketball X's and O's, it's pretty good. But my thought, even before seeing that video earlier this week, was is it the 3-point percentage, right? They've always given up threes on purpose. That's been the style of the defense is, sure, it's worth more points, but they're going to make less. We're going to give up more threes to make sure that we've locked everything else down. And that could be the issue. So I went looking just out of curiosity. So generally it's considered that team defenses can't really lower another team's 3-point percentage, right? You can do things by guarding the right guy or leaving the right guy open. So leaving the poor shooters open and you can do things like that. But overall, sample size wise, it's really hard for you to lower another team's shooting percentage, which basically just means there's some luck involved, right? Milwaukee has the 5th highest 3-point percentage, right? So the 5th most favorable, right? 39.1% of the shots are going in. But if you combine that with, they're giving up the 6th most 3-point attempts, 11,063. That could be contributing to it. But I really think as far as our metrics go for the matchup, it's really a big thing about it is just pace. They're just playing fast. The defensive rating being at 111 is pretty good, right? The bottom we have here is Lakers at 106. They just edged under Utah at 107. All right, that was a basketball talk. Ooh, quick trivia thing, since I'm talking about it. Most threes and everything. If that's going to be blamed for Milwaukee being up here at the top, do you have a guess who's giving up the most 3-point attempts in the entire league? I've got the answer. I'm vamping for a minute to let you guess. It's down there at the bottom. Miami. Miami's given up 1,288 3-point attempts. So over 100 more 3-point attempts than Milwaukee. I don't think that these numbers automatically mean, they're good or bad based on that, right? There's a little bit of luck. That's enough basketball fun. Let's take these numbers and apply it over to the schedule and let you get ready. So here's the week 11 schedule, right? I highlighted the favorable matchups and the people we might want to avoid a little bit, or just lower expectations maybe. The bigger thing is really the obvious. Some teams play 3 games, some teams play 1 game, and that's really what this shorter week comes down to, right? If Cat only plays 1 game for Minnesota, but you can get 3 games out of Jakob Poeltl, it's going to be pretty hard. Those 2 guys might end up being kind of even at the end of the week, just on pure minutes played. So that's something you really got to factor. You can't just set it and forget it this week if you want to win it. And we talked about this before. So for ESPN and Yahoo, they've combined these 2 weeks by default. So week 11 and week 12 are going to play together, and they're just calling it week 11. On this channel, we're going to keep calling it week 12 because I'm going off the NBA season schedule, mostly because I'm going to make another video for you, and it's going to be How do you find which one you want if I keep calling them both week 11? But it's worth mentioning that. So for Yahoo, I know you can change in your weekly lock leagues. You can change between those weeks, right? So you could roll out someone from, say, Indiana this week who has 3 games and then switch it to Houston who's got 3 games, right? You could do the same. Denver's got 3 this week. Dallas has 3 next week. You can actually alter that lineup to get and maximize your games and create a 6-game week where it doesn't exist. I'm not in any ESPN leagues, so I don't know it for sure. So you'd want to check on that, because if they don't let you change it in your weekly lock league, this is going to be a big deal. You're going to want to look at New Orleans, Portland, San Antonio. All these teams have 6-game weeks if you combine them together, and that's really going to give you advantage. So it's not only the fact that they get 3 now, they also have 3 on the short end next week. Either, if you can't change it, that also means like it gets a lot harder to play your Lakers here. If you take a look at this, like they've got 2 games this week, which is fine, right? Middle of the road, but they only get 1 game next week. That is the team that would only play 3 games if you can't make an alteration. Like the Lakers are going to be mostly unusable next week for week 12. And you really got to take a look at that. So I want you to look now and like start getting ready for, think about the weeks combined, whether your team is combined or not. Switching over to the back-to-backs, there's not much to worry about guys resting here because it's such a short week. So Boston doesn't have a back-to-back that we always look at. Brooklyn doesn't have a back-to-back, although we do know KD is going to be out through the All-Star game anyway. OKC does have a back-to-back. I haven't been mentioning them as much, but Horford's definitely resting, so it's worth mentioning it, especially this week because it looks like 2 games. But if he's going to rest on the back-to-back, it's really only 1 game, and it means you can't play him. So I don't think the Horford is a cornerstone of anyone's team, but I know I have him in some leagues, and that's going to make a difference. It means I got to sit him. And Houston, even though they don't look like they have a back-to-back, they actually do. So that's important to note. If you look at it, they're actually coming in here. That first game against Cleveland is a back-to-back. So your guys might get rested there. You'll probably be without Wall, which means you probably can't really play Houston if you're only going to get 1 game. They've got a good game set next week with 3 games. So you, depending on your setup, right? Like, don't go too far. For the streaming schedule here, there's not too much to say about it. We play 4 days, 7, 7, 9, and 7. So technically 7 games is usually what I count as, yeah, you can stream guys. And 9 is maybe you can, but that's just over, right? Because it's over half the league playing. That's where I get that number from. The bigger thing really is just who's going to be playing the most games. Don't worry about like daily streaming because it's all so even. You want a game advantage. If you're in a daily change, right? We're talking San Antonio, Portland, New Orleans. They've all got 3 games. And then on top of that, San Antonio and Denver for this week are playing on the 3 lower volume days. It's not a big difference, so I don't want to make too big of a deal out of it, right? But they play Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Wednesday is the busiest day because 18 teams are playing. So I'm lumping Denver in there for this week, but really you're just trying to maximize it. You get the minutes. It's going to be the most important stat on your team this week is how many minutes your guys play, and you just want to go for that. Otherwise, it's a repetition of what I said last time, right? If you're looking for the whole week combined because you can't make a change, which, again, I want to be very clear. I'm not in an ESPN league, so I don't know it for sure. I just want you to be ready. Check your league settings before they lock this week. But even if you can change, the ideal pickups and everything that you want to look at are New Orleans, Portland, and San Antonio. They've got 6 games total, 3 games this week, 3 games next. That's going to optimize what you can do. So if you've got guys you've been on the fence about, like, yeah, maybe I want to pick up Jakob Poeltl, we've been talking about for a couple of weeks. Get him in there. It's going to help you. You know, Covington had a really rough day for Portland, and he's been pretty disappointing overall. If you still got him, ride with him a little bit longer, right? I know it's frustrating, but he gets 3 games this week, and it's also Charlotte, Golden State, and Sacramento. Like, you're happy about those matchups. You want that matchup. Get your Portland guys in there, right? Maybe you pick up Melo and roll him out there. Depending on what you're doing, 3 games of Melo, and Melo's out there and available for people, is going to give you an edge over some other things. So you really want to look at your lineup. We're putting this video out Saturday. Start looking at it so you can make your moves now. Get those extra games from people because it's an easy way to win. And, you know, they don't wait the weeks in your fantasy schedule. You win this head-to-head with a significant advantage over other people. It's the same as anything else. So take these numbers, check out your waiver wire. I'll be back tomorrow. Go out and win your week. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, please hit the like button and leave a comment down below. It helps me grow the channel. If you want more videos like this, hit subscribe or even the little bell will give you alerts. And I'll be back soon with another video for you. Hey, I'm back. You stayed till after the credits for me. This is exciting. I'm just like WandaVision or something. No, that'd be great if I was that cultural sensation. Anyway, I forgot to mention in the video that I do have a Discord set up. If you use Discord and want to be on there and chat and stuff, I've had it for a while and just never exposed it. I didn't know if I was going to link it to like a Patreon down the road, but I really like the little community we have here. The comments are great. People are helpful and like really positive, and it would be fun to chat with you guys more. So I have a Discord. I've included the link below. If you're into that sort of thing, come on in. If not, no pressure. Thanks, guys.